turn to Pop Goes the Weasel, which will be your very first song in Unit 6, so congratulations. So let's start off by reading the words and chanting the words while clapping our hands. So we're not actually going to sing it, we're going to just chant it, and then we can also try singing as well if you like. All around the cobbler's bench, the monkey chased the weasel. The monkey thought 'twas all in fun. Pop goes the weasel. I've no time to kiss and pine, and I've no time to wheedle. Kiss me quick and then I'm gone. Pop goes the weasel. Now I'm going to play it for you once so that you can kind of see how it goes and you can hear it as well. And one thing that you want to notice is that we're in groups of 3, which means that our fruit rhythms are going to be really good for figuring out the rhythm in this song. So if you remember from before, and we'll talk about this a little more in a sec, when we have a ta combination, that is our apple. And if we have 3 taws, that's our blueberry. And a ta 2 3, we can also call a pear. And we have one more where it's just a ta by itself and pop, and I'm just going to say pop for that part. Okay, so I'm going to find my starting spot, which we'll also talk about in a second, and here I go. Apple, apple, blueberry, pear. Apple, apple, pear. Apple, apple, blueberry, pear. Pop, apple, pear, pear. Alright, so now I want to take a look at the music with you. So I'm going to pull up the first page here in screen share, and we want to do our usual marking. So I want you to find your starting notes. Use finger 1 on middle C, and then our left hand is finger 1 on bass G. Now there's a couple spots where we have to move in this song. I do have my song spread out over 2 pages. I'm not sure what it looks like in your book, so I'm just going to go through the first page in whole, and then we'll switch over to the other page. Here, where it says 2 and 3 above the pop, that's one spot where we have to move, and then we actually have to move again right away after the pop. So every time you see a finger number with a line after it, we need to figure out all of those notes, because that's where we're going to have to move to. So here, we've got this sharp in front of this note here, this line note. That is our treble G, and if you've been working on your line notes, then we would start from that G, and that's where our jibba D would start. So that's actually going to be finger 2 on G sharp, and then a step above G in the musical alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, we just start again. So we've got G sharp and A, which are a half step apart. And then this one right here is our ducking D note, finger 2 on ducking D, so we'll fill that in. Okay, now it's time to mark in our intervals. I would like you to mark your skips or thirds and your fourths. So I'm going to use yellow for my skips. So you can write like 3 if you want, so that you remember what color you're going to use. Obviously you can use whatever colors you have. Got some skips there. Another, oops, I missed one up here, didn't I? Another skip there, and a skip there. Okay, I don't think I missed any more. Oh, I did. There it is. Hopefully, if I did miss any more, you're good enough at finding them that you found them all. Now we want to go through it and just make sure there's no fourths. I'm not sure that there is actually in this, at least in this first part. I'm seeing some sames and steps. We're not going to mark the difference between the treble and the bass clef lines because they're played by different hands. Nope, no fourths on this page. So that's going to be it. That's all that you're going to write for that. However, it might be also a good idea to kind of write in some of those rhythms that we were chanting just now. So when we have our ta, ah, ta, that's our apple. So you can draw a picture of an apple or write apple there. We've got our blueberry, which I probably can't fit very easily in there. And then when we have our ta, 2, 3, that would be our pear. So you can go through and find them all, and then that's a really important first step when you're practicing, is to sing it with the fruit rhythms or just chant it and tap it with the fruit rhythms. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and open up the second page. Which apparently it is having trouble opening, sorry. There we go. Okay. And as I said before, I'm not sure in your book whether or not you've got 2 pages for the song or just 1. It looks like right away at the very beginning of this page, we've already got a move that we need to identify the starting notes. We've got finger 4 on treble C there, finger 2 on treble F, finger 1 on treble A. This is the same as before. The pop is the G sharp and the A, and then back to ducking D. Okay, now it's time to mark our intervals again. So we had our yellow as our third, our skip, and green for fourths if there are any. It looks like we got some skips right off the bat there. Quite a lot of skips in this song. Oh, I spy a fourth. Looks like this part's all steps. Okay, so just the 1/4 in this song to watch out for. That's good to know. One thing that you might notice as you're trying to play this song is right here is a bit of a tricky spot. This is actually going to be a tuck with our thumb, which I'll demonstrate in a second here, just like what we were doing in our scale snake. So to make that a little clearer for yourself, let's actually write that the G should be played with finger 3. And then if you want, you can also write tuck there, because you're gonna have to tuck your thumb underneath your finger 3 in order to get to your new spot. Okay, so now I think it's probably time to look at that tricky spot we just talked about. So we're gonna stop the share and head back to the piano. Move this down with the whisker. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the beginning of line 4, starting with finger 2 in the right hand on treble F. So I'm going to go apple, apple, tuck, and pear. So that's a tricky spot. Practice that a few times. And I'll chant the fingers. 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then it's also tricky because you have to keep moving. You're going to go to the pop. And then you're going to drop down to the 2 on D. Goes the weasel. Notice that whenever we do the pop goes the weasel, that the weasel, there's a staccato dot. Weasel. So we're going to bounce that last note, which kind of sounds a little bit more like a popping sound, I guess. So that's what that little dot underneath it means, is that it's grasshopper staccato. All right. So have fun with that one. Just remember to tap it and chant it first and practice the tricky spots and mark it up, and you should be good.